Hi, my name is Pam Clarke, and today I'm going to share with you how to use my small starter kit using registration lines so you can do unlimited custom quilting. It comes with a small sketchbook. It has lots of ideas and borders and block work in here, which I'm going to draw up for you just a little bit. It also comes with 4 stencils. The basic 8-line stencil, which you are going to be using in your block work. It comes with a 1-inch line, a 1.5, and a 2-inch line stencil. These can also be used for cross-hatching. You want the different line stencils because we're going to be using them in your borders, and your borders are all going to be a different size. So what I'm going to share with you is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to draw some of these up for you, and then I'm going to load up the sample, and then I'm going to stitch them out for you, and you're going to see how easy this is. And it doesn't matter what level of quilter you are, this system works for everybody. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, I'm here at my table. I'm going to show you how to get started on how to do your borders. The first thing that I would really recommend, I learned this from an instructor years ago. If you're making your own quilt, I always add extra fabric on the outside for my borders, because if you're floating your quilt on your long arm, or even if you're doing this on your home machine, you want to have a little bit of room to grip. So what I like to do is I like to measure from my edge right here. And I just kind of guess. So I go from here, like maybe 4 inches. I added an extra 2 inches on this little sample just to show you. And then I take a washable marker and I mark a line. This way here, you'll have room then to square up your quilt. So you won't have any problem. And you're only going to keep your border right inside of this area. You're not going to go past that. All right, so let's go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and mark around the whole thing, and then I'll show you how to mark your line stencils so you can do some custom quilting. Now I'm going to show you how to mark your quilt, and my favorite method to mark with is the Quilt Pounce by Hansi. And I love this chalk method. It's really fast. It comes out of my quilt, and I'll show you how to get it out of the quilt. Normally I will mark my quilt while I have it loaded. But I'm going to mark a little bit for you here on my table, and then when I get to the quilting machine, I'll mark some more for you. Now, when you use the pounce pad, you want to make sure that you get it so the chalk gets into the pad. You open up this little plug back here if you have a brand new one, and then if you look at it, the pad is really yellow when it starts, or white. You're going to put the chalk in there and then put this into a plastic bag and then hit it until the chalk comes through the pad. You never have to do that again, but you do want to make sure that you get that pounce pad prepped well. So it's going to be easier for you to do the chalking. Another thing is my stencils come with a rough side and a smooth side. So the easiest way to remember is you want to take the label side, like here, and you want to flip it down, like so. All right? And then the rough side will actually helps to get the chalk out of the pad. So when you go to chalk this, you want to be really careful because you don't want to move the stencil because it'll smear the chalk. So you're going to take it, and to get the chalk, if it's a brand new pad or if you've been using it a lot and you need to get more chalk into the pad, just put the cover back on, hit it like so, and then it's going to come out. All right, and then you're going to do a scrubbing motion with it. Don't pounce it, all right, because we want to make sure it scrubs into the quilt. And when I do my borders, I want to line it up on one of my seams, like right here. So I'm going to take this, and I am going to chalk it, like so. And you see how I scrubbed that in there. And I'm going to walk it all the way across, and I'm going to chalk it, like so. All right? And when I go to the quilting machine, I will chalk it on the machine for you as well. All right, so that's how you're going to do it for your borders. And then for your block work, you're going to use the basic 8-line stencil that looks like this. All right? And again, the label side goes down. And to find your center, you're going to lay it like so, just like that. Put I call them little legs or extensions, and put them out there like that. And I'm chalking this really heavy for the camera so you can see it. All right? But when you learn the technique, you're not going to have to mark it this heavy. So you can take that. And it's not just for block work. You can also use it in your squares like this, or it could be a pinwheel block. All right, so now I'm going to show you how to draw some of the designs up. And then when I have that done, I'll go to the quilting machine and I'll show you how to quilt it. All right, now we're ready to learn how to do your border designs. And the first one I'm going to be doing is a very, very simple one. And all you need to know how to do is loops. And I'm using a plastic sheet protector put over the quilt, and then I'm going to draw it. This is the one we're going to be doing right here. It's going to be in 2 steps. You start in the middle of your border right in here, this line right here. You're going to create a loop to here on the line, up to that one, all the way across. And then if you're really new at quilting, long arm quilting, I would suggest you come back to the other side. It's going to be easier for you. Or when I get to the quilting machine, I'll show you how to go in both ways. But I highly recommend that you come back to the other side. And now we're going to create a smaller loop that looks like this. Right, like that. Very simple. I use the 1.5 inch line stencils in this border because that's a pretty big border, and it is a little larger than what I would normally use in a quilt, but I wanted you to be able to see it. All right, you can do that. You can also do E's and L's, and the E's and L's is this one right here. All right, right in this one. All right, and this is directional. So when you do this one, you do want to make sure that you have in your corner. And a lot of times I like to put a line. It doesn't matter. You can use the basic 8-line stencil, or you can just chalk a line out to your corner like so, because that's going to keep that big loop even. So just like this. Just that keeps me kind of centered. So, or you can chalk it. I mean, you can use a pencil. You don't have to use the chalk. All right. So when you do this one, you always want to start with the big loop in the corner. All right. And you start like this. You're going to come up like this, and then you're going to do an E in the empty, L on the line. E for empty, L for line. E for empty, L for line. And you're going to go all the way across, and you're going to make sure that it's all going to match up, so you're not going to have to try to squeeze something in that center, in that corner. All right, so that's that one. And you can also do touching hearts. And I think that's on the next page right here. Let's look. It's right here. This one right here. And that's a non-directional border also. So getting to know a directional border really helps. So when you do this one, you're going to start in the center like this, and you're going to create like a question mark or an S. All right? However you want to think about it. You're going to come like this and back to this one, to here, and again, this is really large for this border, but I wanted you to be able to see it. Up to here and back. So anyways, that's pretty simple. I guess I probably should have told you I am using a dry erase marker on this plastic. So and then I just use a piece of batting to wipe it off. Anytime you want to, and I use this for previewing my quilting too, but I use a little bit larger plastic to go over my quilt. All right, so now we're going to work with the blocks. All right, and this is going to be, we're going to be doing a very simple one. We're going to be doing this one right here. Okay, and this is on page 3. And this is where I've marked it right in here. And when I do this, I put little dots when I'm teaching. You won't need to do this after you've done like several of them. But this helps you to remember how to do this one block. So I put a little dot right here. Okay, and you can put this on your quilt, but put it with something that you can wash the quilt out, like a washable marker or disappearing, the purple disappearing pen. Do not mark with the dry erase on your quilt or a Sharpie. Start in this left-hand corner. I'm going to take it, and I'll try to keep my hand out of the way. And I'm going to create a loop around there to that line, to this one, to here, and there. If I stop right there, I can use this in a triangle. Okay, to here. We're going to go all the way around it. Back, here, and back. What's really nice about this system is it doesn't matter what size your square is. All right? I mean, I could even do it in this little red block right here. So that's one design, and I'll be stitching these up for you. And the other one is one of the first ones that I did. And this one, you have to be really kind of careful. You want to make sure that you match your thread color as close as possible to your background block. I'm going to be using contrasting thread when I quilt this, but normally I use a thread that matches. So this one, you're going to create an arc to the center. And you want to stop one stitch from the center because you don't want a whole bunch of buildup of threads. I'm going to come up to this one, sharp point, try to keep my hand out of the way, to here, up to that one, around to this one, back to here. Again, if I stop right there, I can use a center triangle, a large triangle even, or even a small one, up to this one, to here, and back. All right. So let's go ahead and I'll load this up so I can stitch it out for you so you can see how easy it is. And then once I start stitching, I'm just going to do a couple for you, and then I'm going to show you how to do like 3 in a row because this is really just continuous quilting. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started on the quilt now. Well, now we're ready to quilt the quilt. I'm going to show you how I mark when I'm on the frame. I have it all loaded. I've got my chalk. And I did make the borders a little bit smaller. So I'm going to chalk sew. Only going to get so much in front of the camera here. And then I'm going to move it down here. And see, I'm off just a little tiny bit over here. See, I'll move the camera over so you can see it right here. Right there. So what I'm going to do, so it matches, what I like to do is I just fudge. Go like that. And like that. You don't want to do it right at the end. So it's a little bit, but it'll work. All right. So I've got it all marked. So now I'm going to go ahead and quilt it. Got the camera right in front of me, so it's just going to be a little awkward. But I think you'll be able to see. All right. So I'm going to do the first one that I did. Where I did the loop. I start right here. I might turn my speed down just a little bit for you. All right, so I'm going to take it here. I'm going to do a loop there on the line, in the center, on the line, center, line, center. That. Yep. Here. And finish. I'm going to lock my stitches. And I just lock my stitches by rocking them back and forth a little tiny bit. All right. I'm going to try to do a little, maybe I'll zoom in maybe a little bit more for you. There. Okay. Threads. That. I didn't bring my scissors over, so don't do that at home though. Okay, so the next I'm going to do this one. Come back. Now I'm going to do a little one. Here. So this one. Here. On the line. And a lot of times when I'm quilting, I will time myself. On my Gamble, I have a timer, and it kind of tells me how long it takes me to do this border. All right. So what do you think? That wasn't so hard, was it? Now to get the chalk off the quilt, this is the best method I've ever used. I use a product. It's called So Clean. It looks like this. I take a damp sponge. I get it wet. I put So Clean on it. I spray So Clean on it, and then I rub it across my chalk marks. All right, and I do this as I go before I roll the quilt up. What's really nice about this is it's an all-natural product, and it's not going to harm your quilt, and you don't have to wash the quilt. Now the trick is, though, you think that maybe it's not coming off when you do this, but once the quilt dries, the chalk will disappear. Now don't get it sopping wet, okay? It's just a damp sponge, and you just rub it across the chalk, and then it will disappear. Now, if you chalked it really, really heavy, you might have to do it twice. But especially if you're doing this for customers or your clients, you don't want to wash their quilts. But you also want to test to make sure that none of their fabrics bleed either. So anyways, so it's So Clean right here. Damp sponge, spray it on the sponge, wipe it across the quilt. All right, now we're ready to do some block work. I'm going to go ahead and mark it for you. Again, you're going to lay your stencil down. You're going to find the edges, like right here, then that should all match up. And again, it doesn't matter what size your square is. It could be even 2 inches. Then you're going to take your pounce pad and you're going to scrub it across the quilt, like so. All right. So this was the one that I did the little marks in there. So when I did the little dots, I put little dots right in here, around here. And I'm not going to do that. And I changed my thread color because I thought that green just wasn't bright enough, because I want you to be able to see this. So hopefully this orange is going to be a little bit better. Okay, so you're going to start in this left-hand corner, like so. And then I'm going to lock my stitches, and I'm going to do a loop inside those little triangles there and around. I want to get a nice sharp point. This one to here. Another thing you want to do is you want to go clockwise with this. All right? You want to think about looping around those dots. Up and finish. Wasn't that fast? All right. Let me pull my threads up. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and mark another block. I'm going to mark another square over here for you. So, stencil. Mark it. Like so. And again, like I said, I'm marking that pretty heavy for the camera. Normally, I wouldn't be marking it that heavy. I am going to roll the quilt up just a little bit so that we can get it closer into the camera. All right. Here we go. This is the second one that I drew up for you. You're going to start in the left-hand corner again. Trying to get the camera up really close. Bring it in a little bit more. Okay. Now remember, this is the one that you need to make sure you stop one stitch from the center. So here, come down to here, hesitate, up on that line, to here, back, to here, here, up, sharp point, that one, to here, to this one, up, and finish. See how fast that is? All right, now I'm going to show you how I can do 3 blocks. I'm going to work up here, and here. I can even come back over here and do this one. Now, I'm going to do that same one I just did because I noticed that it wasn't as clear. The lighting in here is not all that great, but I think you're still going to get the idea. So this one, I'm going to just do this, the one I did back here. I'm going to come down into that square, up to here, to this corner. I'm going to do the same one, to here, up, that one. This is called continuous quilting. I could have marked that registration line, you know, through the middle here, but I really don't need to. I'm using my patchwork as my guide. Oops, we're going to do this one, I guess. All the way around to here, this one. Trying to keep my hands out of the way. Okay, so now I need to come in and get this one right here. So it's this block right here, up to that one, to here, to this one. I want to get a sharp point. I'm trying to keep my hands out away from the camera. So it's kind of a little awkward for me. To here. Oops, going to come this way. I would definitely suggest you use your stitch regulator when you start doing this. I don't use a stitch regulator, so you know, when I was hesitating there for just a second because I had to figure out what direction I was going in. So with your stitch regulator, you can pause there for a little bit. To here, to this one. All the way around. And done. This is going to save you so much time, all right? And even though I'm just using simple squares and blocks like that, you're going to start learning how to look at your patchwork, and you're going to work around those, all right? So anyways, that was fun, huh? Well, we just have this last border to do. I'm going to do the touching hearts first, and then I'm going to do the E's and L's in the same border. All right, and remember, we're going to start right here for the touching hearts, and we're going to create like a question mark or a backwards S, however you want to think about it. So I'm going to come up like this, to here, and I want to go back to that line because we're trying to touch them. All the way up, to here, and stop. All right. All right, now we're going to do our E's and L's. Hopefully my camera's not too close. There we go. Okay, I'm going to just come down to here. You do an E in the empty, L on the line. Remember, E for empty, L for line. All the way up. This helps you to keep them nice and straight. And actually, you know, I hardly ever have to use these lines for this for E's and L's, because once you get your muscle brain memory memorizing this, you'll know your spacing. So all the way up here, and then in the corner. There. Okay, here's our finished quilt. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Look forward to some more. The next one I'm going to be doing is going to be on how to use a 9-patch. How to use a 9-patch block, and how to use the 9-patch stencil. Anyways, thank you so much for letting me share this this day with you, and I hope you learned a lot.